Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon whether you are watching this live or catching the replay, or wherever it is that you are in the world. I hope that you are having a fantastic day on today. First of all, today we're going to be talking about balancing ambition and self care together. Listen, it's really important for us to achieve our goals, but we don't want to do it to the detriment of our mental, physical, and emotional health. So, we're going to be diving into the harmonious relationship between ambition and personal well being on today. But before we start diving into our topic, I want to encourage you to like and share this with someone who you think needs to hear this message on today. Also, let me know that you're tuned in. Say hello. Drop it in the comments that you're here and where you're tuning in from. If you've been catching any of my live streams, you probably recognize that. Hey, I am not in my regular location. My background is a little different. That's because I am on travel right now. I'm in Houston, Texas, preparing to speak at a conference on tomorrow about maximizing your productivity. And so I am not in my home office. So I don't have my microphone. I'm having this makeshift setup, but I wanted to make sure that I did not renege and that I was here to share with you on today. One more thing before I start diving into, I want to invite you to join me next week, Wednesday, from 12:30 p.m. Eastern to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be sharing a webinar called Breaking the Burnout Cycle. You can go to breakingtheburnoutcycle.com to sign up. It's completely free for you to join, but we're going to be taking a deep dive into some of the things that we're talking about today, but we're going to go much deeper into that webinar or during the webinar. So, matter of fact, let me drop I'm going to go ahead and put the link to sign up there. So breakingtheburnoutcycle.com is where you can go to sign up for that. All right. So let's go ahead and get started because I don't want to hold too much of your time. So when it comes to being highly ambitious and pursuing the things that you desire in your career or in your business or in your life, whatever those things may be, it's really important for you to mind your self-care, your overall well-being as you're going through that process, because too many people find themselves in a position where they're going hard, they're hustling, they're grinding, they're doing all those things in order for them to achieve their goals. But what ends up happening is they end up neglecting the things that fill them up, the things that care for their overall well-being. So your physical, mental, emotional health. And you can find yourself in a situation where you burn out, right? Where you have some sort of emergency situation that lays you out, whether it be for a few days, a few weeks, or takes you out of this world completely because you've had, a massive heart attack and died. And I don't want that for you. So I want to share with you some of the interplay between ambition and self-care. And there's some really common misconceptions that people have, as well as challenges that are associated with balancing the two, right? So one of the misconceptions is that you have to sacrifice your self-care for success. Many people believe that when you take time for yourselves, that it is indulgent, that it could be a sign of weakness, when in fact it is really essential for sustainable success. And if you don't do things to take care of yourself, then you can find, like I said, you can find yourself in a really challenging situation. Um, Also, people fear that they're going to miss out on opportunities if they're not always on, if they're not always available, if they're not always present, if people can't get a hold of you. This is a really especially true for people who are in the sales field and entrepreneurs. We feel, I'm an entrepreneur myself, and we feel like if I close off my time too much, then I'm going to miss out on clients. I'm going to miss out on business. I'm going to miss out on revenue and income. And so it's really crucial for us to really understand that when you overcommit and neglect your well-being, that it's going to be more detrimental not only to you but to your business or to your career when you do that. Some people also believe that prioritizing self-care is selfish, especially in those really competitive environments. So you want to make sure that you recognize that self-care isn't selfish. It is actually a vital aspect of maintaining your overall well-being and productivity. Ambitious individuals may also find themselves struggling with perfectionism. Right, I'm a recovering perfectionist, so this is me. I totally get it. There are things that you can put into place to help you overcome that. And if you are stuck in that cycle of perfectionism, then that can lead to overworking and burnout. So you want to find the right balance between striving for excellence and taking breaks, right? Because there's a difference between operating in a spirit of excellence or having your work be excellent versus perfect, because it is highly unlikely that anything will ever be completely perfect. But you can, however, strive for excellence. There's also this idea that constantly hustling is the only path to success. And when you do that, you start to neglect your rest and rejuvenation. And in reality, self care enhances both your productivity and creativity. When you are tired, when you give yourself that opportunity to step away, when you get a chance to take a break, that is, I didn't plan on talking about this, but I'll go ahead and share right now. Your your brain has two different modes. There is focus mode and diffuse mode. And so when you are in focus mode, that is when you are sitting, you're listening, you're doing all the things. You might be like, I'm getting ready to speak at a conference. So the attendees will be at the conference and they're going to be focused on what the speaker has said and going to session after session after session, getting all this information. And if you don't take a break, then your focus starts to wane and you aren't able to really pay as much attention and you're not able to absorb. But when you take a break, that allows your brain to enter into that diffuse mode where you're now able to process. This is the time when we process the information that our brain has received, whether that is, from a presentation or like from this live stream, reading a book, anything like that, as well as just kind of processing conversations that you've had with people and different things that have happened throughout the day. That is when it happens, when you're in that diffuse mode. So taking the time to step away from your work actually enables you to really process and problem solve, innovate, and really be more creative when you are able to do that. And some people find that it's difficult to set boundaries, right? Uh, so striking that right balance between going hard, if you will, or being ambitious and self-care really requires you to set very clear boundaries and avoid being overwhelmed by different competing demands. When you know what's important, when you have established what your priorities are, then it's easy for you to make decisions that about what you're going to do with your time or how you're going to spend your time that align with the things that you said are important. When we don't have those boundaries and we don't know what our priorities are, then it's easy to start just kind of getting pulled in a ton of different directions and kind of being aimless with our time, where we do a lot of things but we're not actually making progress, we're not accomplishing anything, right? So and I already touched on this a little bit, if you don't take the time to practice self-care, if you're neglecting your self-care on a consistent basis, there are some long-term impacts to your success and your overall happiness if you're continuing to neglect your self-care, right? This might be increased stress and burnout, reduced productivity. You may not be able to make decisions as readily or easily, or you might not make the best decisions. It can strain your relationships, whether those are familial, friendships, even professional relationships. There's health consequences. Remember, I talked about You could find yourself in a position where you have a stroke or a heart attack because you're not taking the time to care for yourself. You can lose your passion and your drive for things because you're just simply burned out. I already said, it can hinder your creativity and innovation. And then there's also, this is something that I don't think gets talked about enough, but there's a missed opportunity for personal growth when you're constantly neglecting the time that it takes to care for yourself. Um, so prioritizing self-care is really crucial for long-term success and your overall happiness. So by nurturing your physical, your emotional, and mental well-being, you can enhance your ability to achieve those ambitious goals and maintain that healthy work-life balance, which will lead to greater fulfillment, greater joy, more peace, more adventure and excitement, right? So, how do we go through the process of nurturing both ambition while also cultivating that self care practice? Right? It's really important first to recognize and honor your own personal values. Why is that? Right? When you recognize, going through the process of self reflection, when you recognize your personal values, and take the time to identify what really matters to you, what things that are important to you, those beliefs that guide your decisions, that's going to help you to make decisions on how you spend your time and the things that you do that align with your highest self. You want to be consistent in the things that you do. Honor your personal Honoring your personal values really involves aligning your actions, aligning your tasks, aligning your schedule with what you say you believe. You want to strive to live in a way that reflects what your values are, even when you find yourself in challenging situations. Here's a really good example. Yesterday, I already said that I'm here in Houston, Texas, to speak at a conference, and yesterday was my travel day. On my way to the airport, I was feeling quite anxious, which is not common. I don't typically get anxious traveling. I'm not a nervous flyer or anything like that. But I just had this really extreme level of anxiousness. And I took a moment to reflect. I'm like, why am I feeling like this? I'm not running late. So I'm not in jeopardy of missing my flight. Everything was lined up. I had all my reservations. They were all confirmed. um, there was no reason for me to feel anxious. And so I just kind of sit, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. And so I started praying and I was like, God, I don't know what this anxiousness is. Obviously, there's something that is not right. I'm getting ready to walk into something that's not right. And so prepare me for what is to come. And when I got to the counter to do my bag drop, because I checked the bag, come to find out my flight was canceled. And it was canceled just as I got to the ticket counter. And so a whole myriad of things ended up happening. There was no additional flights they could put me on until Wednesday. I speak on Wednesday, so that wasn't going to work. My only option was to request a refund from them and book on another flight so I could get here in time. Right. So um when that situation was really challenging, but because I practiced self-reflection, I didn't allow myself to get caught up in that. And so I was able to handle the situation in a way that was congruent with my values, my beliefs, and who I am. I wasn't ugly to the agent. I didn't get all huffy and aggravated and agitated by the situation because there was nothing I could do about it. There was nothing I could do to change it. I just simply took a moment to pause. I stepped to the side, found a place where I could sit and kind of regroup and say, okay, how do I handle this? What's the best course of action for me to handle this? Right. So I was able to still be consistent in what I believe, what my values are as a person in the way I handle the situation. Right. So without getting stressed out, burned out, overwhelmed, and all those things by what was happening. So it's really important to, what else did I want to say there? Let me look at my notes real quick. Oh, one more thing before I move on to the next thing, topic. Being authentic is really crucial as well. You want to embrace and honor your personal values because it's going to help to lead you to a greater sense of authenticity and fulfillment in all aspects of your life, right? So, just like the situation I shared with you just a moment ago, um, I was able to remain true to my character and myself, right? So, when you are doing that, when you're honoring your personal values, it empowers you to live a life that is true and consistent with who you are and what you stand for. All right. So, what do you do? Right. Like I share with you all these things. They're probably like, Trisetta, well, how do I do this? how do I, how do I actually incorporate this? Because I still want to achieve my goals. I still want to have the success that I desire. But how do I do that without burning out, but also without sacrificing the success that I desire? Well, I'm gonna give you a few steps, right? So the first thing is you want to be sure to set realistic goals and expectations. So how do you do that? First, you want to break down your goals into smaller steps. So tiny bite-sized pieces. By setting achievable milestones involves the process of breaking down those big goals, right? Those larger goals into manageable action steps. And this approach is really going to help you feel like you're making progress and that your goal is actually attainable. It allows you to celebrate your wins along the way, celebrate some successes along the way. When we have this big, huge goal and it is so far out in the future, and you're doing all these little steps to get there, if you're waiting to the end to kind of celebrate, then you can lose your steam. So you want to have those quick wins, those short-term successes, those short-term wins, so that you are able, right? So that you are able to maintain the motivation to keep going. You also want to make sure that you're setting realistic time frames. Be mindful of the timeframes that you're setting your goals for achieving those milestones. Don't overload your schedule with unrealistic deadlines because that is one of the things that's going to lead you to stress, overwhelm, and potentially burnout. You want to prioritize balance in your goal setting. When you're going through the process of setting your goals, you want to make sure that that is a key component by ensuring you that you account for personal time, self-care, and meaningful connections with your loved ones as you are going through the process of setting those goals and establishing those timelines. You also want to make sure that you are regularly assessing and adjusting, right? You want to do periodic reviews of your progress so that you can ascertain whether or not your milestones are actually aligned with what your overall vision is for your life, your business, your career, whatever it is that you're focused on. And be open, be okay with making some adjustments to your goals based on your situation or your circumstances changing or new opportunities and new insights that you may have along the way. Life is not static. We get new information every day as we're walking through this journey called life. So you want to make sure that you are doing things, that you're taking those things into consideration, right, as you go along. And then also, you want to make sure that you are seeking the support of others, that you're seeking accountability, to be held accountable from someone who's a trusted friend, a mentor, a colleague, or a coach who can really hold you accountable to staying on track and offer you support in the journey. By having that system of support, it can really make your journey to success, your journey to whatever that goal is that you have, much more enjoyable and so much more effective. So, by following these tips, you can really start to set achievable milestones and maintain a healthy balance, right? You want to foster your personal growth and fulfillment along the way. Remember, it's not just about reaching the destination. It's not just about getting to that end goal. It's about enjoying the process, enjoying the journey from where you are right now to the success that you are after, right? So, in the pursuit of our dreams and our mission, ambitions, it's really easy to overlook the essential role that self care can play in our journey, right? However, the truth is that self care and ambition are intricately, right? They're intricately connected. And they form this really powerful symbiotic relationship that can fuel sustainable success. Like we don't want short-term success. We don't want to be like a one-hit wonder, right? We want sustainable success. And not only that, that personal fulfillment, right? So ambition really propels us forward, driving us to set those big, hairy, audacious goals and push our boundaries. It can help to ignite that fire within us and motivate us to work hard and strive for excellence. However, without self care, that burning passion that you have within you can start to quickly burn out. Neglecting your well being can lead to burnout, it can lead to stress, and it can even jeopardize your ability to achieve your goals effectively. Self care really provides us with kind of this nourishment that our souls need in order for us to sustain our ambition. It's kind of think of it this way, it's kind of like the foundation upon which we build resilience, focus, and creativity. And when we prioritize our self care, we are able to replenish our energy and rejuvenate our spirits, as well as gain some clarity for our path, for the path that lies ahead for us. It empowers us to navigate any challenges that we might be experiencing with grace and resilience from any setback, right? Road bumps and roadblocks that we might experience. And it can do that with this kind of renewed sense of determination, right? So the synergy between self-care and ambition fosters this harmonious approach to success. And as we honor our personal values and take our physical, emotional, and mental well-being into care, we unleash our full potential, right? We unleash our full potential of our ambitions. We start learning to set boundaries. We make intentional choices and we align our goals with our authentic self, right? With who we truly are, who we truly desire to be. And it's a really beautiful relationship. And self-care can become the accelerator, right? It can become the fuel, the gasoline for our ambition, not a hindrance. It doesn't hold us back. It can actually propel us into the thing that we desire to do or to have. And it enables us to sustainably pursue our dreams, sustainably pursue our passions, and enjoy the journey in the process, while so that we can find fulfillment and joy in the achievement of our goals, as well as the personal growth that we experience along the way. So we want to make sure that we embrace the connection between self-care and ambition, recognizing that nourishing our well-being is not a distraction from success, but it's an essential catalyst for reaching new heights in the things that we desire to do. And by striking this balance, we unlock the true power of our ambitions and pave the way for the life of purpose, achievement, and long-lasting joy and fulfillment that we really desire. So I want to share with you really quickly, because I'm running out of time, I want to share with you a few examples of some self-care practices that can help to enhance your motivation, your focus, and just kind of your overall well-being in general. Some of these, if you've caught any of my live streams, these are things that I talk. Many of these are things that I talk about regularly. You can do practice mindful meditation. Obviously, exercise is a really good one. Journaling, making sure that you're going by writing in a journal, it really helps you to process your thoughts, your emotions, and get some kind of insights on different things that are going on in your life. Making sure getting quality sleep, not just getting sleep, but getting quality sleep. That you're getting enough sleep, and that you're getting into that REM sleep cycle so that you can get into that rejuvenative and restorative sleep. Making sure that you're eating healthy. You want to eat nutritious foods that fuel your body instead of things that are junk, that are just fooling your body into thinking that is receiving nutrients. Spending time in nature, setting boundaries, really leaning into your social connections, doing mindfulness, or excuse me, mindful breathing, right? So doing deep breathing meditations. And finally, unplugging from technology, right? Sometimes we need to get away from the screens, turn off the phones, turn off the notifications, and just step away. So I hope that you have really enjoyed this engaging discussion on that delicate dance between ambition and self-care. I want to take a moment to talk about something that's truly transformative, which is my upcoming webinar that I talked about at the beginning of this live stream, which is called Breaking the Burnout Cycle. And in the webinar, it's really specifically tailored for people who are driven, right? Like for driven souls, just like you, who are passionate about making a difference in the world while also wanting to nurture their own well-being. So we understand that ambition fuels your fire, right? We want to ensure that you also have the tools you need to maintain that momentum without sacrificing your self-care. So during the webinar, I'm going to be doing a deeper dive into the strategies and insights that we talked about today. And we'll also explore how to seamlessly integrate self-care practices into your ambitious pursuits so that you can remain focused, you can remain motivated and fulfilled every single step of the way. We're not going to continue to neglect our well-being, right? We're not going to do that on this path to our goals and success and all of that. But you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it alone. So I'm going to show you how you can do that, right? And you might be thinking, well, how do I even how do I get even more out of this? Well, that's where the webinar comes in. By joining me, you're going to gain a comprehensive knowledge, actionable steps, and some personal insights that will cater to your specific needs. So remember, you are the driving force behind your ambitions. You are the one that's in the driver's seat. I'm just simply here to support you in that transformative journey. So don't hesitate. I want you to take the leap, register for the webinar now. Again, it's a free webinar. I'm going to drop the link. Just head over to breakingtheburnoutscycle.com and you can reserve your seat. And yeah, I can't wait to embark on this journey with each and every one of you. So go ahead, go to the link, join me for Breaking the Burnout Cycle, and let's unleash the full power of balancing ambition and self-care in your life. So head on over to breakingtheburnoutscycle.com to sign up, and I hope to see you there. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you again real soon. Bye for now.